Your parents aren't God. A lot of parents think they know everything. A lot of parents think they got it all together. A lot of parents think and believe that they are right about everything. But spoiler alert, you're not. You're not God. You don't know everything. You made mistakes. And if you keep on telling your kids how to live and what to do and how they should go and all these things, your kids aren't going to like you. But there comes a time when a parent has to let go, has to stop trying to control, stop trying to tell their children how to live. There comes a point between a parent and a child's life where the parent has to back off. And then also, same thing for the kids. And that's the focus of today's video. As a child, when you become an adult, and you'll know when this time is, especially if you're very close with your parents, and especially if you had good parents that really poured into you. And you got parents that are strict, and then you got parents that, care a lot, and really showed up for you and was present and stuff like that. Every parent got a flaw, right? But there comes a time in a boy's life that when they become a man, they have to grow up. They can't be a child anymore. They have to be who they are. They can no longer rely on their parents like they used to. They can't act like how they used to act as a child because now they're a man. It reminds me of a scripture verse. I'm gonna go ahead and bust it out. I'm gonna come back to it later. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. It says, "When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I acted like a child, for I was a child. But when I became a man, I had to put away childish things." There comes a time in a man's life where he has to hear from God himself. He has to speak to God himself. He has to allow God to lead him himself instead of relying on his dad to lead him like his dad has always done. So the problem lies when a boy doesn't rely on his own convictions from God, doesn't have any convictions from God, and they rely on their father's convictions. And I say that because that's a slippery slope. I know some of you guys probably won't agree because you're basing it off the book of Proverbs. Listen to your father's instruction. The father's instruction we should be listening to is God's. God's instructions overrides and oversees our parents' instructions. So you got to listen for your own sake. You got to have your own relationship with God, right? You got to stir up your own personal relationship with God so that you can have your own convictions and your own ambitions and your own calling, right? So if a boy is listening to his father's convictions, does everything the father says or his mother, and he literally accepts his father's opinions over his own, what will his life look like? I'll tell you what it'll look like. At the end of his life, or sometime, midlife crisis or something like that, they'll start to hate their lives because they'll figure out that their lives aren't their lives. Like if the son, like hypothetically speaking, if a son literally did everything their father and mother said to the T, I mean, they put their money in the same places that their parents told them to put their money in. They live with their parents or live in the same, vicinity as their parents. You know what I'm saying? It goes deeper than that. But like literally, let's just say you did everything your parents recommended and stuff like that. Then there'll come a time in that boy's life where he'll live with regret because they'll figure out their life's not their own. They literally did everything their parents would have done, so they end up in the same situation that their parents are in. And on top of that, like what the father or mother wanted for the child, that's literally what they're experiencing. So literally, they're living the lives that the parent wanted. And let me say that again. So the parent literally tells the child how they want the child to live, what they want the child to do, right? And the child literally does everything. They went to this college that the parents said to go to. They literally, went got the same calling, same occupation as their parent. Like you know what I'm saying? Like literally, like they majored in the major that the parent told them to major in. They got the jobs that the parents said to get. Eventually, the child's going to look over their life and be like, man, I didn't make any decision for myself. So, like, their life will no longer be their lives. Their life will be what the father or the mother, their parent, wanted their life to be. And what kind of life is that? Are you kidding me? I'm going back to 1 Corinthians 13:11. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I acted like a child, for I was a child. But when I became a man, I had to put away childish things. There comes a time when a man has to be a man. There comes a time where a man has to create his own life and do what he wants, pursue his passions, pursue his aspirations, pursue what God has, you know, knitted and crafted you specifically to do because you are different than your parents. So do what God called you to specifically to do, right? And spoiler alert, your parents aren't God. A lot of parents think they know everything. A lot of parents think they got it all together. A lot of parents think and believe that they are right about everything. But spoiler alert, you're not. You're not God. You don't know everything. You made mistakes. And if you keep on telling your kids how to live and what to do and how they should go and all these things, your kids aren't going to like you. So your parents, again, they're not God. It's your life. It's time for you to live it. It's time for you to be a man. It's time for you to be a woman. So when are you going to live? When are you going to do what God called you to do? Not what your parents told you to do, right? It's your life, not your parents. Live it. Live it. And that's the dilemma. It's really hard to live when you got people in your ear trying to tell you that you're not going the right way. You're not doing the right thing. They may be right, but also they may be wrong too. You got to learn how to listen to God for yourself to figure that out. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, like what God's opinion is matters the most. What he says goes. Everybody else can kick rocks. So who you gonna live for? Your parents or for God?